Hey guys, I just wanted to kind of show you what I've been working on. Um, as you all know, we don't like ummorpg very much, so that's kind of why I started working on this. It's ummorpg, but what I'm doing is I'm using it as a base and stripping it down from the clusterfuck that it was and componentizing it. Basically, as you can see here, I've I'm working on simplifying how things work. Uh, so, like, you'll have the add-ons folder, which you'll be able to put your add-ons in, and components, and a core. I'm trying to think of how I really want to go about explaining what I'm doing here. It's kind of self-explanatory almost. The add-ons, you'll be able to add add-ons in like we did before using the partials, um, and the devx or devext. Um, the point of this, like I said, is to componentize it. And by that I mean how it was before was a spaghetti plate. You had to go through all these scripts and find everything, and even though there was one script folder, you had to go through and find the scripts all throughout the folder, and then you had to go through the player script and find all kinds of shit. Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm recoding the whole thing pretty much. I'll walk you kind of through what I'm doing here. The network manager has been separated from these. The CS cameras are the locations and the camera positions now. Separated from this, you still put them on the same way you did before. Easier to move them around this way. As you see, I'm making everything into prefabs so we can drag and drop things where we want them. The canvas, same thing. Everything's being turned into prefabs, and I'm getting the associated scripts and tracking everything down into the player and simplifying things so we don't have all that shit sitting in the player script. And as you can see, each one of these are now a separate component rather than clustered together. The portrait is the portrait like it was before. Soon these things will also start changing. Like, I've got ideas of combining the equipment and the inventory and skills panels and all that, like people have been doing and talking about doing, and using the portrait inside of maybe there rather than outside here, or doing it different out here. There's different ideas I have. This is going to be a very cool package, and it's going to have no tools in it. I'm going to hard code everything inside of the code, inside of the source, and componentize it, modulate the whole thing. Anyway, so these are all separate components, as you can see, and you can now move them, where you want them individually. You can combine them later on if you want to. It's up to you. The whole point of this was so that everything can be slapped in real quick with components and moved around and adjusted and edited and get to it pretty quick. As you can see, I still have work to do. I'm going through here and knocking all this out. Monsters are all combined together. NPCs are together. The world is just exactly that. The world spawns, the different respawns. Now down here you got the add-ons folder, the components, and this is where all the components up here that I've been separating. The cameras, there's a main cam and a mini cam. You'll see a pattern, prefabs folder that holds the main prefab. If it says canvas inside of it, which I'll show you in a minute, then it'll go up in the canvas. Scripts, all the scripts associated with the main cam, uh, the main scripts anyway. Any hooks and stuff, may still be in player and stuff like that. When the time comes, you'll need to know about it. You'll know. All right, same here. The scripts associated with it and the prefab. the database. So now you know where the file is directly. Minimap, same thing. The prefabs, this is what I was telling you. If it says canvas, that means it goes into canvas, and this is the minimap. Scripts associated with it, which is the script that you find on the minimap. Shit like that. Networking. This one has the network manager, and inside of it the CS camera, prefabs, and then all scripts associated with the networking. And status, this is where all the individual, now what buff slots is when you put your buff on, it's where it goes up here, so you can move that around now and more easily and edit it. The EXP bar is now this third one. Health, mana, portrait, stamina. Stamina I'll be adding in. Stuff like that will now be hard coded in um, to the actual components and into the core. Alright, so that's what's going to be inside of here, is basically where you're used to looking for all the scripts, which is inside of core here. Where you're used to looking for stuff is now going to be right here, and you'll be able to find everything pretty quick, like inventory and guilds and party and da 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 da. All right, so inside the core, what we have is everything you're used to working with: your models, prefabs, resources, everything the resources. I've even edited some stuff in here. Your buff skills, heal skills, passives, physicals, items themselves. PvP, this is now where the murderer and offender buffs are. Quests, recipes, some of the things still the same they were and what you're familiar with. The scenes, scripts. Alright, you'll see less of these in here because as I'm doing this, I'm removing the scripts and putting them where they go over in the components, recoding the scripts as needed, and adding new stuff to them once I start rebuilding the user interface again. So you'll start seeing these folders disappear and these scripts disappear and going into the components. So the only scripts that will be left in here will be absolutely essential core scripts like the player and entity and stuff like that, that have more like hooks in them rather than the script itself that goes to the component. That makes sense. So you'll already see there's less scripts in here, and it's growing less and less and less. Textures, all the textures you're going to use, icons, materials, stuff like that. Still in the same places here in textures, but it's inside the core. So all the stuff like that we use that's very important inside the core is going to stay inside the core. Be easier for you to get to it. The utilities. Alright, this is different because this is where a lot of some of the scripts and different things are housed now. The dev ext, which used to be inside of tools, is no longer there. We need it for our hooks, so it's been moved into our own utility folder. Fonts, plugins, which is where your mirror and SQLite and all that's at. I've already tested this all headless. I've got it right here. I'm going to show you. It runs fine. There's no problems. Scripts, this is where the utility scripts are at that used to be inside of scripts up here. Text Mesh Pro and these things that we don't really use all that much or don't mess with. Stuff like that are inside the utilities, things we don't really touch all that much. And same will go for the core really, except for the models, prefabs. You'll be touching these folders, but you're already familiar with them. And now they're a little easier to find. Components is going to be really great because you'll be able to jump like to inventory, and then everything inside of here that you'll need, the prefabs and everything will be there. You can jump in, do a quick adjustment, da 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 da, do an add-on for it to hook into it, whatever. So it's all nice and set up now, and I've set it up with the nice little blue floor, which I love. Fizzbon's idea of the blue floor. Stuff will be changing drastically in here, and eventually this will not even be the ummorpg core anymore. That's what I'm going for. Alright. And so now let me show you real quick where we at on time. We're doing great. Alright, started the server up. Those are not errors, that's them stupid warnings that always pop up for the shaders and stuff. If I knew how to get them off there, I'd shut them up. If somebody knows, please tell me. I'll create a new character so you can see that it works. We'll create an archer. Call him Toot Timmy. Alright, as you see, no errors. I'll show you the aggro and everything is working on the monster still. As you can see, I don't have them set up to move really that much. I'll show you I can attack him. Where you going, guy? I hate this Camtasia. It makes my mouse all flutter around. As you can see, there's no add-ons in here, nothing. This is a very clean set of files right now. Just the whole point of this. So it stays clean, easy to use, and that people can come right in and start making a game. And we're going to do a bunch of very rigorous testing on this for the monster animations. That's the biggest bug we have. If we can get that sorted, then we're good to go. And we can actually start making real games with this base, because then we'll have that problem anymore. With the monster animations on like version 1.177 and the mirror and all that shit that was causing issues. Let's see, open some of these windows so you can see inventory, the equipment, skills, quests, all the things that you're used to seeing right now, all opening, all working like they should. Me editing the files the way I am has not done anything but, in my opinion, speed up the files. It's running very nice and smooth. But I'm going to leave it at that for right now. I've showed you just about everything I want to show you right now. I'll post updates and videos and stuff as progress is had, and see no errors inside the logs. And then you'll be able to see it as it's being created and changed and modified, so nobody can say, you didn't do that. You probably hired somebody to do it, because you keep saying you're retarded, but I am. I'm selectively retarded, guys. I can do shit. I just have to be in the mood to do it, and I have to be staring at the code, and I don't necessarily know what somebody means just because they put a code block in front of my face. I know because I stare at this damn code every fucking day. Probably know this code almost as good as Viz knows it. Nah, I doubt that. Anyways, alright, so that's what I'm doing, and that's what I've done, and some nice stuff is coming, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.